Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone.
Hi everyone, I'm the Broken Meeple. Win or lose, I'm going to be honest with you. And after the last few lists, videos, podcasts, and particularly the last review for Nippon, which I'm still dealing with the ramifications of that from the various people on the internet, but I feel like it's time we go to something a little bit more mellow, a little bit softer. And so going back to my Patreons for the next top 10 list that was in the running on the rankings I did recently, this one is top 10 calming games, or soft games, relaxing games, you know, just games that you play to unwind. And you might argue, well, I play any game to unwind. But I'm sorry, if Mr. President, for example, that solo game, is your idea of unwinding, that's not relaxing. It's a different type of thing entirely. So these are games when I'm playing them, I feel like, you know, you can almost just, it's a bit like having a nice massage, which I've got one later actually. You sort of feel like, you know, the world is just keeping away from you and you're just getting on with it, and you know, your woes are behind you and everything's just woosah, you know, just like nice calm even breaths.
Woosah.
I don't know what the you're talking about.
So I basically looked up a bunch of games that I've got which sort of facilitate this mood for me, and I've tried to rank them to the best of my ability. It's a little tricky, but basically I've tried to combine both how relaxing I feel when I play them and how much I enjoy them in the first place. So there's definitely going to be some, you know, shaking in terms of where you might expect some of these games to fall on the list, but all of these games, if I play them, I'm just like, and I actually had more than 10 easily. I mean, it was a good short list here to pick from, and, you know, I'll mention some of those later, because I'm sure they would get picked up by you, the viewers, if I'm not careful. But yeah, all of these are just nice games, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the game's got to be devoid of any thought processes. You know, they can be light, and to be honest, I think every single game on here is light. I mean, there were one or two midweight games that I actively took out because I thought, probably too much thinkiness involved. But yeah, generally a relaxing game is going to be a lightweight game. Yes, something like Ark Nova is comfort food for me in the sense that I can play it, the rules are ingrained in my system, and I just like, you know, feel good when I'm playing it. But I can't say I play Ark Nova to relax. That's not kind of how it works. So, without further ado, let's get on and just chill.
Yes, you do know what the I'm talking about.
My number 10 is a very light little gateway game that I have not seen anybody play in a long time. I think this came out when, like 2015, I want to say? 16 max. I mean, it came out quite a while ago, and it's still on my shelf. It doesn't hit the table too often, but, you know, it certainly had a very good run for its first few years, where it was just like, oh, you know, if you're gateway gamers and you want a nice light theme, I'm going to bring this one out as a bit of a change from themes that you tend to see. And this is Dream Home. Dream Home's a very nice, casual little light game. You effectively are building your dream home. You've got a blank canvas for your house, the top floor, the ground floor, and the basement, and all you are doing, basically, is just, here's a row of cards. Some of them are tools for special powers, some of them are various decor you can put in the rooms, and some of them are the rooms themselves. And you're trying to fill up the rooms with cards, because they basically have got like almost sort of mini panoramic pictures on them, and you're trying to fill up your rooms, put cool decor in them, and just basically, you know, make a nice house.
Oh, it sounds dreamy.
This is just a nice, pleasant little game. It's a very light, easy theme, because all you got to do is just take some cards from there, do what you need to do with them, and that's it. That's pretty much the thinking process. And you're just looking at your little house and putting the rooms together. As I put birdhouse in there, I got the cat tray there, you know, I got a games room downstairs, and upstairs is just a nice lounge with a big living room or something, and it's just pleasing. You know, you're almost planning out what you want your actual dream home to be like, or trying to compare it to your actual home that you live in. Add the expansion, you can have friends and neighbors turn out with little like requirements that they want, like I want a kitchen this big, that kind of thing. And it's just nice. It's nice, it's colourful, it's super light, and it's, well, I guess you could call it dreamy.
Look at me! I'm Dr. Zoidberg, homeowner!
Number 9 is from what I would probably call an indie publisher. They've only released a couple of games, and they've all gone around this theme of, well, it'll give it away if I say, this particular animal type. Yeah, they've done an abstract game based on it, and they've done this first little Euro based on it, and it's a very simple game. You certainly can make it more gamey if you add the expansion in, so I'd be warned about that. But if you just want the lightest little, cute little fare that you can, you're looking no further than Birdwood Games, who down here, if I can get it off the shelf, come on, it's a little bit wedged in there.
12 seconds later.
This is Dog Park. Very nice, very colourful, very relaxing game. I mean, I've got the expansion in here so I can play it as more of a meaty experience, but even if you were just to play the base game alone, it's just a nice, simple little game where you collect dog cards, beautiful artwork, and then you go on little walks with your dog, picking up resources so you can get other dogs and keep your dogs happy. It's a bare bones little Euro. I mean, you can argue that the point differential is a little bit, easily, like, too close together in a sense. Like, you got all these different little objectives you can do with the dogs, but they only amount to so much. But you don't really care too much about the scoring in this. You just play it because it's super light, and if you are a fan of dogs, and I'm a fan of all animals, frankly, as long as they haven't got 8 legs, I'm a fan of all animals. I suppose bugs. All right, ignore bugs. Let's just assume it's a normal animal, okay? Then I love it.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Yeah, I love cats and dogs, and there's so many dog lovers out there, and you just can't help but just go, you can't help but look at the cover and just be like, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
And it's like, it just brings out that kind of feeling in you. It's for dog lovers everywhere, and the two people sort of in charge of this, where is it? That's the artist game. Yeah, Lottie and Jack Hazel. Lovely people. They are adamant about dogs. They've got their own dogs. It's just, you can tell the passion has gone into this. And when you play it, you're not there to burn your brain out. You're not there to make massive, brain-burny decisions. It's just a case of, I just want to walk these dogs and look at nice pictures of dogs. And when I'm done with it, I just think, dogs. And, that's kind of the feeling you want. What better way to relax than with a lovable little dog?
I think not, baby puppy.
Number 8 is a game that a lot of people have barely heard of. It had a Kickstarter, and supposedly I think it's meant to have an expansion at some point soon. I think they've already had the Kickstarter for it. I'm just waiting for it to get released, and I'm sure, hopefully, the publishers will get in touch to let me review the expansion for them when it's fully released. But this is a game about cooking. Foraging for ingredients and cooking. That's pretty much all it is, and I love to cook. I like fruit and veg. So naturally the idea of just cooking with lovely fruit and veg is going to sing to me in terms of a theme. But it's one of the most colourful, beautiful games I've got. It is, ripe with gorgeous sort of anime-esque artwork in a sense, with the characters and that. But the premise of the game is you go pick up ingredients and forage and cook. This is Wild Gardens. It's a very... here we go. Its own main flaw that I would say is that it's probably a bit long for what it is. It definitely does skew the time length a little bit. I'm hoping the expansion will seek to make it a little bit shorter. But Wild Gardens, I mean, look at that cover alone. That cover alone is already like a beautiful, nice, relaxing cover. But then when you add in some of the components that you've got in here, where I've sort of pimped this one out a little bit. So I've got like the premium wood source tokens. I've got, the premium ingredients, nice wooden tokens for all this stuff. You've got lovely bags. But then you've got all these cards with gorgeous artwork on them, which are all different things. Like, I mean, this is wild fennel pasta. Now, granted, I hate fennel. I hate anything that tastes like licorice, so I wouldn't want to eat this. But you've got all sorts of different recipes in here. And all this game's going to do is make you hungry, because you're going to want to eat half of this stuff. So you could have a lungwort salad, a strawberry jam, birch shortbread, chicory root tea, beech nut butter, wild onion pasta, chimichurri eggs, black trumpet toast. What the hell is black trumpet toast? Tea berry ice cream, hickory nut milk, pine nut pesto pizza. I mean, man, some of these are, fantastical in nature, I'm pretty sure, but, some of those are realistic recipes, and all I want to do is cook every single one of them and try it. It really is one of those games that's just going to make you sort of like, this is nice, just forage for ingredients, and, pasta. It very is kind of almost Homer Simpson drooling like. Very nice, very relaxing, very simple rules, you just go around foraging and cooking. you know, I mean, those are both relaxing activities. Baking, I'm not so sure, but certainly cooking. I like to cook. I like to cook for friends. As long as you're not fussy eaters, I won't get stressed out over it.
For what the Lord has provided, let us be truly effing thankful, okay?
My number 7 is in the other room. I can't get all the games out, you know, this just conveniently those ones were behind me. But this is one that I think only came out last year. Very, very light, very, very colourful, and, like, produced so damn well. And it's literally about as light as you can get. I mean, you have various different tokens that score in various ways. And other than that, you just basically take a little tool that gives you a special action, as well as like the ability to take some of these gorgeous little pieces and put them on your pergola board. Yes, little pergola. This is very light, very, very sugar light, almost sugar-free light. It basically just has you taking one of several tools in the middle of the table, and one will have a special action which allows you to move up certain tracks and that, you know, for points and bonuses. And the rest of it is just, right, it gives you some flowers, or it gives you some bees, or some hives, or some, you know, roses, you know, or some, you know, other little bits and bobs, you know, little, oh, what do you call them, the, lanterns, you know, lanterns that you hang from trees, you know, all sorts of these different little things, as well as little butterflies and little other creatures and ladybugs. And all you do is just basically put them on your board in this beautiful fashion where you just create this lovely picture of a garden, a pergola garden in front of you. It's not brain burning at all. I mean, the decision space is relatively limited. This is meant to be a light game that instantly just cleanses the palate. Now, would I like it to have a little bit more thinkiness to it? Yes, that's why it's not quite as high as others. But if I literally do want to just, like, empty myself of all neuroses that have been building up, then Pergola's a good way to do it, because you haven't got to stress yourself out with anything in this game. And a lot of these games where you create something nice in front of you, or have something pretty to look at, is going to work. And you might have noticed that we've already had, what, let's see, we've had Dog Park, we've had Wild Gardens, now we've got Pergola. You know, there's definitely going to be a heavy skew towards nature themes or animal themes with this list, which kind of makes sense, because let's face it, nature and animals are kind of like the two best things to relax with. You know, I might go to the gym to unwind and, you know, de-stress. But de-stressing is a little different from relaxing, you know. I mean, I could be doing gym stuff all day, just nothing but lifting weights and doing treadmills, elliptical trainer, whatever. I'm not sure I would feel that relaxed doing it, you know, that calm. You know, I'd be putting in the effort, you know, heart stronger, whatever, you know, harder, faster, better, stronger. But, yeah, am I doing that to relax and be calm? No, but this, yeah, nature themes are going to do it for me with this regard. And this one is just pretty light, build a nice thing in front of you, and then when you're done with the game, win or lose, you just look at it and go, that was nice.
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
Number 6, we are going old school now. We're going back to some of the first few games that I remember playing when I got back into gaming. This one is pretty much the epitome of lightness and fluffiness and relaxation. You know, the game was pretty much like made for this. And even to this day, when you see it being played, you can't help but look at it and just go, that's nice, that's lovely and light. I prefer there to be at least one expansion in this, rather than just play it in its base form, and the reprint it did was fine, but I think it was better in its original form. This is the classic Journey Across the Japanese Road of Tokaido. Tokaido is super fluffiness, isn't it? I mean, you are basically just going to a different spot. Yes, you've got other players getting in your way in that, but what are you doing when you go to these spots? Picking up a souvenir, having a nice warm thermal steam bath, which, to be honest, I would love to actually go to Asia, like Japan and that, and try one of those baths that they do. It's like that. It does look very nice. But you know, other ones you might be just painting a little panoramic art picture. Another one, you're going to a restaurant, eating some sushi, and then you just carry on and rinse and repeat that stuff. But each thing gets you a little bit of points, and you get to the end and see what your journey was like and see who wins. As if it matters, because during a game, it's just nice, fluffy lightness. It's so relaxing to play this game, even when you add the expansion. I don't know if it was Matsuri or something else, but the first expansion, the one that basically took every single location you could go to and added a new thing you could do in each one. Not a great deal of extra rules, makes the game a little bit more gamey, but it's still relaxing. You just can't help but get into that Japanese feeling. Like, you want to have Japanese music playing in the background when you're done. While you're playing, and then when you're done, I feel like a sushi. You know, I feel like going out and getting a sushi. It's just one of those lovely little games that really evokes a nice, pleasant theme, a nice bit of demeanor. Like, you can't get angry with this game. You can't get upset. Somebody stops you from going to the spa baths. There'll be something else you'll be able to do that's perfectly nice. But you just can't get angry in this. It's not possible. It sucks away all the anger in the room, you know, and, you know, basically says, right, all the anger at this table is gone. You must go. You can go over to Barrage or something over there or whatever, you know, so you are not welcome at this table. It's just so light and fluffy. How can this not be on the list?
It's all fluffy!
For my number 5, yeah, spoiler alert. And I don't mean spoiler alert now, I mean spoiler alert for pretty much this entire video. I mean, it's kind of staring you at the face. And of course, you've got to have this game on this sort of list because it is just a nice, relaxing, light game. But a certain animal would be a little bit upset if I didn't introduce this onto the list. Yeah, it's okay. I haven't forgotten you. Of course, the delightful Takinoko. Takinoko is still a fun little light game. I'll play it with the expansion, you know, add in the panda babies and the female panda and stuff, you know, just adds a little bit of extra variety to it. But it's still just a light, fluffy game, just building up little hexes of a nice Japanese garden and then having this panda and gardener move around growing trees and eating bamboo. I mean, that's pretty much the crux of the game. You know, the gardener wants to grow trees, the panda is a gift and wants to eat bamboo, and you want to build a garden in certain ways for colors. It's light, it's super fluffy. You know, I would use all the variant rules, though, to mitigate some of the luck factor. And certainly, I think the expansion does add some nice, cool extra tiles, and I think the female panda is a nice addition, and it balances one or two things in the game as well. But, yeah, it's just... it's so nice. It's light. It's fluffy. And who doesn't love a gorgeous panda?
Just you know why.
Just you know why. Pandas are a lovely creature. And, you know, you go watch any video online on YouTube where it's like the... you know, Asians taking care of panda babies, you know, and you're just watching them just like be little, not to say little terrors, but, you know, like just little cheeky little gits, you know, just wandering around, getting in your way, being playful or something. They're adorable little things. And, you know, the little minis that you get. And I've got the giant set in the other room, which I've brought out for special events, you know, day events, purposely just so that kids can play with the giant set of Takinoko and have a laugh. These massive, great big bamboo pieces and the huge panda and all this stuff. It's like, it looks amazing on the table, and even in its small box form, it's still very pretty, but it's just light and fluffy. People might get in your way, they might move the panda or the gardener where you don't want them, but you're done and dusted in 45 minutes, and at the end, you've just had a nice, pleasant experience. I mean, Tokaido and Takinoko are just like, you know, the poster childs when you think of relaxing, fun games. And these two had to be on the list, and they're still going strong to be halfway up it for me.
Panda ما يتقلهاش لا.
Number 4. It is possibly one of the most important gateway games you can possibly get in your collection. I play it pretty much all the time when I go home and visit the parents. I'll play it now and again solo when I just want a nice solo abstracty style game which is just, you know, pleasant to look at, still themed around nature and animals even though it is more abstracted than others. But I think at this point, because I've played it so much with the parents and I associate it with obviously being home in a situation which is pretty relaxed, you know, just playing it or doing the solo challenges in it are just like, nice, just take that, I'll put it there, yeah, put a nice little bear there, put a nice little fox there. Yeah, I mean, you know, who plays Cascadia angry or stressed? It's gotta be like impossible to do that. Cascadia is just too nice a game to play it in a foul mood, and you know, it's abstracty, so yeah, the nature theme could have been anything else, but it looks nice when you build up your little map. It looks nice with all the little color tokens, and again, it's not the most brain-burning decisions you gotta make. You pay attention to what others are doing, and certainly you've got to, you know, especially with the like C and D animals that you've got to be mindful of where you put stuff, but it just feels, like I said, it's just one of those nice feeling games. You know, I never play this going, oh god, what am I doing? Or like, I don't know which one to take, it's so bad, no, what do I do? It's like, none of that ever happens. I just get it out to the tokens and just like, there you go. Take a nice little hawk, put it there. Take a nice little fox, put it there. We'll try and surround it with some salmon. Yeah, nice bit of salmon. You got a bit of snow, alright, we'll see if I can get a snow. We'll put a pine cone in and take that along with the bear. Now, it's just nice and pleasant. You can't help but play this in a relaxed state. And it is a gateway game that I do enjoy still playing, and I still hold ground that this is probably in the top 3 in terms of the best gateway games that have been released. You know, it just ticks all the boxes that a good gateway game should have, and to this day it is still strong, it is still popular with people, gamers will still play it, and my parents will always want to play it whenever I bring it home. Well, I don't even need to bring it home, they have their own copy now. So I'm not a big fan of the expansion. You know, it caters more towards playing this with 5 or 6 players, and that's really not what I want for this. You know, 4 players is definitely a cap, but, you know, playing it solo, nice relaxing time as well. I can crank this out in less than half an hour, you know, put it out, play it, put it down, you know, half an hour of time, and I just have a nice little bit of relaxation while playing it. It's a great one. I mean, come on, are you surprised?
Is this a trick question?
Number 3. I mean, I know a lot of other people seem to have a problem with this animal type, and I question why, because they're lovely creatures, they're interesting, fascinating creatures, but, you know, ever since it got 2 spin-offs, everybody suddenly jumped on the hype train of like, oh, I don't like this animal, it's horrible, I much prefer dragons and boring dragons. You know, it's like, come on, not interested in dragons. And fish, up to a point, but only so interested in fish. What was wrong with birds?
Mine.
This is Wingspan, and yeah, I'm putting a Stonemaier game fairly high on the list. I mean, I do really still enjoy playing Wingspan, and I love birds. Birds are a fun creature, and this is a very relaxing, light Euro. You know, you are basically just doing one of 3 actions, basically, and playing birds. That's what you do. You lay eggs, you draw cards, you get food. And the birds themselves, they look great. It's just nice, colourful board, nice, colourful cards. Play your bird, let it do its thing, trigger its power a few times. You know, it's not brain-burning or heavy. I don't want to play this with too many players, then it stops being relaxing. But you play this with a nice, like, you know, play it solo, play it 2 to 3 players, 4 occasionally, never 5. And it's just super nice. It's just a super nice little game. And I know some people have, you know, hated on Wingspan since it ever came out, and some people even got sick of Wingspan after so long, but I still enjoy it. I've still got, sadly, the nesting box here because I need it in order to host the Americas expansion still in there, but yeah, you can, I mean, I'll play it only with Oceania. That's the way I want to play it, you know, so not necessarily the base game, but you could throw in any of the others, European, the Asia cards, just not the stupid flock mode. The Americas expansion was solid. I mean, I gave that a decent review. It's not an essential expansion, but it's a good expansion. You can check out my review for that. I did it back in Feb. It's, you know, Wingspan is just nice. And again, we're going back to animals. You know, you've noticed a heavy emphasis towards nature and animals. It's not entirely top 10 nature games, but what can I say? Nature is just something that is relaxing to me, and it should be relaxing to a lot of people. So I don't get why everybody suddenly jumped on this train of I hate birds when Wormspan came out, but frankly, Wormspan and even Finspan don't compare to the original Wingspan.
Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. But birds are well, well, a bird, bird, bird. But birds are well.
For my number 2, we're going with a campaign game. Yeah, campaign games aren't normally the first thing I would go to for relaxation, but yeah, they tend to be huge stories, huge, grandiose, epic games, a ton of rules, lots of, you know, grisly, dark stuff, you know, which is all great. You know, I love playing those type of games. But let's face it, if you want a campaign game that is just super light, fluffy, and relaxing, you look no further than one that I have touted the praises of before, which is Lands of Galzir. Lands of Galzir is basically a low-stakes campaign, or a low-stakes episode of the week series. So imagine a light, not necessarily for children, but like, you know, a fairly nice, what's the phrase they use for a lot of anime? Slice of life. A slice of life style animation show with animals, because it's all animals with this particular theme. And the idea is that you just basically play through the series, and every week there's a new episode of something that happens. Maybe there's a to be continued or whatever, but for the most part it's episode of the week where something happens to these characters, or this one person. And that's it. That's what this campaign game is like. You know, the rules are light and fluffy. You know, you go to a location, you read a bit of story, and you make a choice, you roll some dice for a skill test, you get items, you upgrade your character, and then you could just reset and do it again with another character. You can explore the map, explore the world, do what you like. There's plenty of story in this game. And it's just the most relaxing campaign game you can get. There isn't one that I would say is any more relaxing than this, because it's low stakes. This isn't like, right, I must trudge my way through the swamp of despair while I've only got one leg, because if I don't, then the apocalypse is going to happen and we'll all be overrun by, I don't know, Stefan Feld lovers.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. It's, you know, that's a weird apocalypse, but you get what I mean. It's like, it's just episode of the week, light, fluffy animation style, you know, and you're not there waiting like, oh my god, I gotta wait a year before the next series, and oh my god, this character's gonna die, what's gonna happen? No, I'm stressed out. It doesn't have any of that in there. It's just a slice of life tale that you tell at your own pace, at your own leisure, every time you play it. You know, it doesn't require you to commit even. You could just happily put it down and not play it for a while, and it will still function fine when you get it back. You could be like, you know what? I've progressed far enough with this character, we're now going to reset and try this character and do a bit with them. And you can do that. You can happily save the game, you can happily reset the game. It's just a nice, fluffy, campaign-style game. You know, all the others require a lot more stress, a lot more time investment, a lot more cost. You know, and this one is just nice, low stakes. And sometimes you just need something, a world to escape to relax. And this is exactly that. Go into this world. This is the land of Galzir. Have fun.
No, it's too perilous.
And number one. This one has a little thinkiness to it, but not that much. And even when you throw in the extra modules you now have for it, it's still not particularly brain-burny. But again, we're sticking with nature. But when you see all these cards with this gorgeous artwork, yeah, there are games on this list I might enjoy playing more than this one, but this one definitely has gone up for me. You know, it's rising because I think of the expansion that I've been playing recently, and just by getting it out more. You know, it's hit the table more often. It is just gorgeousness. It is beautiful artwork, beautiful theme, and just light gameplay. It is Meadow. Meadow is just, you know, how can you not relax? You know, yes, you've got the board where you're taking cards, and you might think, oh, someone took a card you want. There's other choices available. You can do other things. And at the end of the day, you're building up columns of these cards where you just can't help but stare at every single card you pick up with tears coming out your eyes because it just looks that good. I've still got the picture on my kitchen wall that they gave me. The publisher gave me a picture of one of the cards, frame. I stuck it in a frame and I put it on the wall, and it's just, lovely. You know, you can check out my review I did recently of the adventure book with the 6 modules in it. Not every module was great in it, and certainly you can add a couple to make it a little bit more brain-burny, a little bit more thinky, but it doesn't stress me out while playing it. I just, you know, even if I just play the base set, I'll happily play it and get a nice relaxing time. Play it with downstream, move along a nice little river and have river cards, and it's just painting this gorgeous picture in front of you of either all these different little creatures, all these different like scenery cards, and you know, the little souvenirs you get, and it all is just like some of the best artwork I have seen in any game. You know, it really is just that beautiful. And so when you play this, you can't help but have it evoke some sense of relaxation and you know great calming feel to it. It's a classic game for this type of thing, and it's going up in my estimations. You know, it was kind of like a 7 out of 10 originally. I would certainly say it's at least an 8 now. But, you know, so yes, there may be other games on this list I might have put as a 9 or something before. But you combine the two together, how much I like it, and how much I'm even liking it more, and just how nice and pleasant it is, there was only really one number one.
Ow! There's a rock right there!
There you go. 10 very relaxing games, and we've got a few, like, you know, ones on the short list. Got the new phone here, it's a bit thinner than it was before. So a few that I didn't mention. Life of the Amazonia, love the game, and it certainly is a bit more like a Cascadia thing, but it's Cascadia for gamers. There's more going on, there's more thinking that you gotta do, a bit more stress involved. So even though it is a lovely game and it is kind of comfort food, it's still, I don't know, I think putting this one on the list rather than Cascadia might have been a bit of a foul. Forest Shuffle again, nature theme, but it's nice. I mean, when I'm playing it, I'm like looking at all the lovely little pictures and I'm playing the cards down, but you do have to think about which cards you need, and then you got to think about how I'm paying for this card, and it's like, oh, I need more cards to pay for this. Right, let me grab more cards. Right, have I got the 2 yellows so I can play this and get the bonus? No, I haven't. God damn it, where do I get a yellow bonus? And then you get to the very end, you've got the 3 winter cards, so the 3rd winter coming out, do not finish yet, I need to finish. And then you've got to go through all that scoring. I'm not sure it quite fits fully in the relaxation thing. It's a great little game, and it has flaws, but relaxing, touch and go. What else we got? We got Redwood. Redwood down there. You know, the one where you're moving around the map and taking pictures and stuff. It's a very light theme, but it takes a little bit to set up. It's a little fiddly in places. But I did consider it. I mean, this was definitely in the low teens area, like, you know, somewhere in the 11 to 13 range. So I did heavily consider Redwood. Just hadn't hit the table as much in recent times. You know, I think I need to, you know, get at it again and give it a bit more time and attention. Art Society, I'm not sure I would play it in a relaxing mood. I mean, it's light and you've got, you know, just a nice, pretty sort of art gallery that you're putting down, but with all the things you got to consider for each portrait that you get and the bidding system, I'm not sure I would call it relaxing. Floriferous, you know, that little card game I mentioned on the, what was it, the, what list did I mention it on, the Floriferous one? Low complexity, high depth one or something. You know, it's, you know, say, not very complex, but you've got pretty pictures of flowers, you're just building up a nice little collection of flowers. I mean, that's relaxing in itself, but I just didn't think it was top 10 worthy. Because it does have a decent amount of depth to it. And then finally, Alice's Garden. This is like the choice of polyomino games for me. It is light, it is quick, it is well produced, it is cheap, it is a solid gateway game. I mean, this is definitely alongside Cascadia is one of the ones you really need to consider. And it's nice. It is pretty relaxing. I just don't know if I would have put it as top 10. Like, I was definitely considering this in the 11 to 13 range. Just didn't quite make it. So, I mean, there you go. There's 10 games that I find just soothing, calming, relaxing every time I play them, whether it's solo or multiplayer. Definitely a heavy emphasis towards nature and animals, but nature and animals is something I find relaxing. It may not be my primary interest, but it's relaxing. You know, when I go on holiday to places, I like to check out their local zoo. I mean, the reason I went to Prague last year was to go to Prague Zoo. Everything else I did while I was in Prague was basically icing on the cake, with the exception of beer. Okay, I went to go to the zoo and the beer. So it was those 2 reasons I went to Prague. The fact that I got to see some beautiful countryside, the fact that I got to see some interesting museums, shall we say, the fact that I got to bathe in a jacuzzi full of beer, one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had, you know, stuff like that was just, and the fact that I was able to go to that guns gallery, you know, and shoot loads of different weapons, you know, with the Rangers. It was such a nice little holiday. But I went there for the zoo. Walking around a zoo, particularly a good one, where you've got all these nice animals to look at, is just a soothing experience for me. And I tend to end up doing it alone. I mean, it would be nice to have someone there I could take to the zoo with me, but you know, sometimes it's just, you know what, I just need to get out among nature and unwind. And I could just go for a walk in the woods, But other times I just think, you know what, there's a zoo, haven't been there for a while, I just want to walk and look at the animals, because animals don't have to put up with all the stress and crap that we do if they're being treated well. You know, they've got no, you know, they don't have to go to work, they don't have to worry about their finances, they don't have women trouble. You know, it's like they basically just get to live out their lives and just march around and eat. You know, it's like stress-free, and you know, you almost got to kind of not maybe a bit jealous, maybe be a bit envious of them because of that, because wouldn't we all like to have lives that relaxing at times? I don't know, that's just me. I'd be curious to know though what you guys think, so if that's it from me, I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video. Remember to thumb it up on YouTube if you like what you see. Check out the Patreon if you want to lend a hand at voting for other lists or submitting ideas, or even just helping the channel keep going, because review copies come up short the more that you criticize games, so Patreon's a reason I can keep this channel open. But also I'd be interested to know your thoughts about A, do you find these games relaxing, the ones I mentioned, but also what games do you find relaxing, or particularly what type of games do you find relaxing? I mean, if one of you comes out and says that you find train games relaxing, I may have you sectioned. But, you know, if animals and nature isn't what relaxes you, what does relax you with a game? And I don't mean that you just enjoy the game and it's light, or you just enjoy the game and, you know, it's comfort food. You know, Ark Nova is comfort food for me, for example. And you might have wondered, oh yeah, Earth, I didn't mention Earth. Earth, yeah, there's a lot you got to think about in that game. I'm not going to call that relaxing, I just love it. So, you know, what is your opinion on this? So until next time, remember, it's only a game, just chill. Chill and relax. Take care. Bye for now.